The tears wouldn't stop falling. LeBron James sat in his car, reading the same words over and over again. Kobe Bryant was gone, but his final message had just arrived. What the Black Mamba wrote in his last letter to LeBron will change how you see their legendary rivalry forever. This is the story that was never meant to be told. January 26th, 2020. The world lost one of basketball's greatest legends when Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash that shocked the entire sports world. But what nobody knew was that just 2 days before his tragic death, Kobe had done something extraordinary. He had written a deeply personal letter to LeBron James, a letter that was never meant to reach the public. Hidden in his desk drawer, this final communication would reveal truths that had been buried for 20 years. It would expose the real relationship between two titans who had defined an era of basketball. This letter would change everything LeBron thought he knew about his greatest rival. January 28th, 2020, past midnight. In his sprawling Newport Beach mansion, Kobe Bryant couldn't sleep. The house was quiet. Vanessa and the girls were fast asleep, but Kobe's mind was racing. The upcoming Hall of Fame ceremony kept coming to mind, but more than that, one name wouldn't leave his thoughts: LeBron James. For 20 years, they had been locked in competition, trading barbs in the media, pushing each other to greatness through rivalry. But as Kobe sat in his home office, surrounded by championship trophies and memories of battles fought and won, there were truths weighing heavily on his heart. Things he had never told LeBron, confessions he had kept buried beneath layers of competitive pride. That night, something compelled him to finally speak his truth. He opened his laptop and began typing. The words came slowly at first, then faster as decades of suppressed emotions poured onto the screen. He wrote until 3 a.m., his eyes growing heavy, but his heart growing lighter with every paragraph. When the letter was finished, tears filled his eyes. He had finally written down the truths he'd carried for 2 decades. He printed it, folded it carefully, and placed it in an envelope. On the outside, he wrote in his distinctive handwriting, "For LeBron only, private Kobe." He placed it in his desk drawer, planning to deliver it to the Lakers' office the next day. But that tomorrow would never come. January 26th, 2020, 1:47 p.m. LeBron James was in Philadelphia, preparing for a game against the 76ers when his phone started buzzing incessantly. At first, he ignored it. Game day was sacred, and nothing could break his focus. But when his assistant's face appeared on the screen for the 5th time, he knew something was terribly wrong. "LeBron," the voice was shaking. "I need you to sit down." Kobe's been in an accident." The words hit him like a physical blow. "What kind of accident? Is he okay?" "He's gone, LeBron. Helicopter crash. And Gianna, they're all gone." LeBron dropped the phone. His teammates found him collapsed on a locker room floor, sobbing uncontrollably. The strongest man they knew, the guy who never showed weakness, was crying like a child who had lost his father. The game was postponed. Nothing mattered anymore. On the flight back to Los Angeles, LeBron stared out the window in complete silence. His mind kept replaying every interaction he'd had with Kobe, every argument, every moment of mutual respect disguised as rivalry. When he arrived at Staples Center, thousands of fans had gathered. Candles flickered in the darkness, flowers covered the sidewalks, and jerseys created a colorful memorial. LeBron sat in his car for 3 hours, watching this outpouring of love, feeling the enormous weight of loss pressing down on his chest. The weeks following Kobe's death were some of the darkest in LeBron's career. The Lakers' performance plummeted. Players missed shots they normally made, defensive rotations fell apart, and the team chemistry that had been building all season seemed to evaporate overnight. But nobody was struggling more than LeBron himself. "How are we supposed to win a championship without Kobe?" he asked Coach Frank Vogel after a particularly difficult practice. "I know he wasn't on the team, but he was always there. His spirit, his energy, his voice, criticizing me on TV, it all motivated me." Now, there's just silence. Vogel had no answer. This wasn't something you could coach through or fix with strategy. This was grief, pure and simple. During those lost weeks, LeBron developed new habits that worried his family. He would stay up late watching old Kobe interviews on YouTube, studying his facial expressions, trying to memorize the sound of his voice. He would drive past Kobe's old practice facility, sometimes sitting in the parking lot for hours. Savannah found him crying in their bedroom one night, clutching an old Lakers jersey. "He never told me he was proud of me," LeBron whispered. 20 years, and I never knew what he really thought. When the COVID-19 pandemic shut down the world and the NBA season was suspended, LeBron found himself trapped in quarantine with his grief, replaying decades of what-ifs and unspoken words. April 3rd, 2020. LeBron was in his home gym, trying to work out his frustrations on a heavy bag, when his phone rang. The caller ID showed Rob Pelinka, the Lakers' former general manager and Kobe's longtime agent. "LeBron, I need to see you immediately. We found something in Kobe's office that you need to see." "What kind of something?" "A letter, addressed to you." Maria, his assistant, found it when we were finally cleaning out his desk. She said he wrote it just 2 days before. Pelinka's voice trailed off. LeBron's heart started racing. "What does it say?" "I don't know. Nobody's read it. The envelope says for LeBron only, private. We've been waiting for the right time to give it to you." LeBron drove to the Lakers facility faster than he'd ever driven before, breaking multiple traffic laws and not caring about any of them. When he arrived, Maria was waiting with tears in her eyes. She was an elderly woman who had worked for Kobe for over a decade, and she handed him the envelope with trembling hands. "Senor LeBron," she said in her heavily accented English. "He wrote this with so much love. I could tell from how careful he was with the envelope. He wanted only you to read it." LeBron held the envelope like it contained explosives. Kobe's handwriting was unmistakable, that confident, flowing script that matched his personality perfectly. His hands were shaking as he carefully opened it. The letter was 3 pages long, written in Kobe's distinctive style, direct, emotional, and brutally honest. As LeBron read the opening lines, tears immediately began streaming down his face. "My king, if you're reading this, then I'm no longer in this world. I know this will come as a shock, hearing from me like this. But there are truths I've carried in my heart for 20 years that I need you to know. You are my greatest inspiration, and I've been too proud to tell you." LeBron had to stop reading for a moment. This wasn't the Kobe he knew, the trash-talking competitor who had publicly questioned his decisions. He continued, "I've been watching you since you entered the league in 2003. That 18-year-old kid from Akron played with the wisdom of a 10-year veteran. While other rookies were intimidated by the moment, you embraced it. You carried yourself like you belonged, even when everyone was waiting for you to fail. Those years in Cleveland, when you carried teams that had no business being in the playoffs. I was playing alongside Hall of Famers like Shaq and Powell, surrounded by championship-level talent. You were dragging Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Delonte West to the finals. That's when I knew you possessed something I didn't, the ability to make everyone around you better. Not just yourself. When you went to Miami, I publicly criticized you. I said I would never call up Magic and Bird a team up. But I was lying, LeBron. The truth is, I envied your courage. You had the balls to take control of your own destiny, to bet on yourself in a way I never could. The night you returned to Cleveland and completed that 3-1 comeback against the Warriors, I watched every minute from my living room. When you made that block on Iguodala, when Kyrie hit that three-pointer, I cried like a baby. Vanessa asked me why I was crying, and I told her, I'm watching greatness. I'm watching someone rewrite basketball history. That performance wasn't just about basketball. It was about redemption, about keeping promises, about healing an entire city's wounded heart. In that moment, I realized you had achieved something I never could. You weren't just a great player. You were a great leader of people. I won 5 championships, and I'm proud of each one. But you've accomplished something far more meaningful. You've given hope to millions of kids who look like you, who come from where you come from. I created Mamba mentality, the ruthless pursuit of individual excellence. You created something bigger, King legacy, leadership, community, lifting others as you climb. The school you build in Akron, the way you speak out on social issues, the way you've used your platform for good. I spent my career focused on being the best player I could be. You spent yours focused on being the best human you could be. That's why you'll be remembered long after the games are forgotten. I need to apologize for all the times I questioned your heart, your commitment, your killer instinct. The truth is, your heart is bigger than anyone's in this game. Your commitment extends far beyond basketball. And your killer instinct is directed at inequality, at injustice, at giving others the opportunities you never had. Now, I have a request that comes from the deepest part of my soul. Don't you dare retire anytime soon. Don't let anyone tell you that you're too old, that your time is over, that you should step aside for the younger generation. You could be the best player in basketball for the next 10 years if you want to be. Your body might be 35, but your mind and soul are timeless. You are basketball's most important ambassador, and when you eventually do retire, this game will face a void that may never be filled. Michael passed the torch to me. I'm passing it to you, but you're going to have to carry it longer than any of us did because there's nobody coming behind you who can fill the space you occupy. Bronny is growing up, and I see so much of you in him. Maybe one day you'll share the court with him. Father and son, playing together in the NBA. Can you imagine that moment? The poetry of it? You'll continue making history in ways none of us ever could. Thank you for coming to Los Angeles. I know it wasn't easy, leaving Cleveland again, facing the criticism. But this city needed you, and you needed this city. You're going to win a championship here. I'm certain of it. Because you have something that can't be taught, can't be coached, can't be faked. You have the ability to make the impossible feel inevitable. Gianna watches your games religiously. She studies your leadership, your decision-making, your composure under pressure. I tell her to watch how you treat your teammates, how you handle adversity, how you carry yourself with dignity even when people doubt you. You're teaching my daughter what greatness looks like, and for that, I'll be forever grateful. When you finally do hang up your jersey, you won't just see the championships you've won. You'll see the lives you've changed, the barriers you've broken, the paths you've cleared for others to follow. You're not just King James. You're the king of showing us what's possible when talent meets purpose. I wish I had told you this while I was alive. I wish I had put aside my pride and my competitive nature long enough to say, you inspire me. You challenge me to be better. You've shown me that being great isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about what you make possible for others. My final words to you are these. Never doubt your impact. Never question your worth. Never let anyone diminish your legacy. You've already changed the world, but you're not done yet. Keep fighting, keep leading, keep showing us all what greatness looks like. Watch over my girls. Be the role model for them that you are for millions of others. And remember, Mamba mentality isn't just about being ruthless. It's about being relentless in the pursuit of your truth. Your truth is bigger than basketball. Don't ever forget that. Mamba out, king forever. With love and respect always, Kobe. When LeBron finished reading, he sat in complete silence for 20 minutes, tears streaming down his face. Then something shifted inside him. The grief was still there, but now it was accompanied by something else. Purpose. Kobe hadn't just been his rival. He had been his biggest supporter, watching from afar and cheering him on even when the world couldn't see it. That day, he went to the training facility and worked harder than he had in months. When his teammates asked what had changed, he simply said, I'm playing for something bigger now. I'm playing for a legacy that goes beyond rings. 6 months later, in the bizarre setting of the Orlando bubble during a global pandemic, LeBron led the Lakers to the NBA championship. When he lifted the Larry O'Brien trophy, his first words weren't about himself or his team. They were about Kobe. This is for you, Mamba. This is for Gianna. This is for everyone who believed in us when we didn't believe in ourselves. What the cameras didn't capture was LeBron's pre-game ritual throughout the playoffs. Before every game, he would read Kobe's letter in the privacy of his hotel room. The words gave him strength when his body was tired, clarity when the pressure mounted, and purpose when the games felt overwhelming. The bubble championship was special for many reasons, but for LeBron, it was proof that Kobe's faith in him had been justified. He had kept the promise he'd made to his city, honored the legacy of a fallen legend, and shown the world that even in the darkest times, greatness can emerge. Today, LeBron continues to play at an elite level well into his late 30s, defying father time and rewriting the rules about athletic longevity. That letter remains framed in his home office, a daily reminder of the responsibility he carries and the love that existed beneath 20 years of competitive fire. The letter sits in LeBron's home office, in a custom frame surrounded by photos of both men throughout their careers. Every time he faces adversity, every time someone questions whether he's still capable of greatness, he reads those words, "Mamba out, King forever." And he's reminded that Kobe was right. He isn't just King James. He's the king of showing us all what's possible when we refuse to accept limitations. If this story of hidden respect and eternal brotherhood moved you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more incredible untold stories. Share this with someone who needs to be reminded that our greatest rivals are often our greatest teachers. And remember, sometimes the most powerful words are the ones that are never meant to be heard.